Good morning and Erev Shabbat Shalom. I am speaking to you from the balcony of my apartment in Carmei from the Holy Land. As you can see, I'll push the screen down a little bit so you can catch a glimpse of what's behind me. As I had explained, we moved to Carmei, which is in the southwest of Israel. This is an apartment we're going to be staying in for a few months until our new apartment is ready for us, but it's also in the same neighborhood. We chose this area first and foremost because of its beauty, and secondly, because it's brand new. It has so much growth potential. And third, because it's very affordable. It's something that is accessible to anyone who wants to make Aliyah to Israel. There is housing available and within reach of any person. So, with that said, I would like to share a word of Torah, something about Parashat Shavua. I miss everybody back in Great Neck, and I want to dedicate this Dvar Torah to two dear friends from Great Neck who helped us immensely on the day that we set out to the airport. That's Jordan Carmei and Moshe and Ayatan. Both of them were indispensable to our process because we had 40 pieces of luggage that needed to be conveyed to the plane, and they were incredible in their assistance. I just want to dedicate this Torah to them. Thank them for that. In this week's Parasha, we read about the man. We read about Hashem recounting, or Moshe Rabbeinu recounting, how Hashem deprived us by feeding us only man, and that this would teach us that not on bread alone does man live, not on something that our ancestors recognize or that we recognize do we live, but we live on whatever Hashem decrees. And that can sometimes be something which is unconventional, which is unexpected. At the same time, the Torah tells us that when we come to Eretz Yisrael, we're going to find a land that's flowing with milk and honey. We're going to find a land that is filled with all kinds of delectable fruits that are going to be tasty, delicious, that are going to be beautiful and attractive physically, and that there's going to be an incredible material bounty in the land of Israel. So how do we look at these two extremes and understand how they relate to each other? The pasuk says, "Lo tichsar kol ba," you will not be lacking anything in the land of Israel. How is it possible to say that we won't be lacking anything in the land of Israel? And why is that even important? Why is it important to say we won't be lacking anything material in the land of Israel? We see that in the desert we were able to live while lacking a lot of things. Why should we claim or even want to claim that there's everything available in the land of Israel? It's not even true. There are many fruits and vegetables that you can't get in Israel. There are many luxuries that might be available in other countries that are not available here. It's not even literally true that nothing is missing from any country. Every country has things that it has that other countries don't. So what does it mean? And I think that what the pasuk is telling us is something very, very important. What the parasha is telling us is something very, very important, which is that when we simplify, when we pare down our expectations and we step out of the mode of thinking that there are certain things that we cannot live without, it makes our life that much easier. Being in the midbar with a minimal ration of man taught the people that what they thought was necessary for a good or fulfilling or meaningful life wasn't really necessary. They didn't have to have the kind of conventional food that they were used to. They didn't have to have the kind of lifestyle that they imagined was indispensable to be called a good life. And I think that this is true in so many areas for ourselves as well, that we think that we have to have a certain amount of money, or a certain type of house, or a certain type of car, or certain types of foods, or certain types of clothes. Whatever it may be, we have all kinds of expectations and demands from life, and we take these demands and we take these expectations and we burden ourselves with having to fulfill them, having to seek after them, and feeling dissatisfied if we don't have them. On the other hand, what the pasuk is telling us, what the Torah is telling us is, don't think you can't live without certain items or certain luxuries or certain conveniences. It isn't true, because if you're in a circumstance where you are deprived of those, not only will you find that you're able to survive, you may even thrive. You will gain greater strength and a deeper and clearer perspective on life from not having those things. I'll give you an example from my own life. Recently, I had to pare down my library from 6,500 books, approximately, to around a couple of thousand in order to accommodate the size of my new apartment in Israel. And to tell you the truth, it was very emotionally difficult. It was not easy to give up books or to sell books that I had had for so long. And I couldn't imagine living without them. I couldn't believe that it was possible to have a happy life without that library that I had built and that I had always known. And the truth of the matter is that then for the last few months, starting from May all the way till November, even those 2,500 books that I have left, I wouldn't be able to have, because right now they're in storage before they are shipped to Israel. So essentially what I've been living with is just a bag of a few books, whatever fit in a bag or two of books that I kept with me during the past couple of months and it's going to have to last me all the way till November. And you know what? I thought it would be torture. I thought it would be impossible. I thought it would be unlivable, but it wasn't. It turned out that not only did it not disturb me, not only did I not feel myself wanting for anything, I actually appreciated what I had in front of me that much more. The books that maybe I'd be distracted normally from the variety that I had of books in front of me. Now I focus in and I deepen my appreciation for the blessings that I have in my hands, for what I do have, rather than seeking after other things. I see how what I have, what I've been given, what I kept, is able to offer me fulfillment. And the same is true. I know that a very common example of this is new parents. Before you were a parent, you said to yourself, I could never live on less than 10 hours of sleep. I could never live on less than 8 hours of sleep. I could never live on less than 6 hours of sleep. And then you discovered when you became a parent that somehow there is a miracle. Hashem has given us this strength that we are able to survive on very little sleep when we have to wake up with a baby at night, when we have to take care of kids, when there are emergencies. We learn the true limit, or actually the boundary of our strength, that there's a lot more to us, that we have potential to do a lot more and to live with a lot less than we thought that we could. And that ability actually makes us that much more capable of appreciating the blessings in life. And I think that is what the Parasha is saying. If we pare down our expectations, if we don't think we can't live without this or that or the other thing, then not only do we cease chasing after extravagance and luxuries, we also appreciate the blessings Hashem has given us, those simple blessings and the luxuries and the conveniences that we do have. We appreciate them that much more, and we're grateful for them that much more. So we should all have the zechut, we should all have the merit to simplify our expectations of life, to weed out the unnecessary luxuries that distract us from appreciating what is really fundamental and from seeing the blessings that are staring us in the face every day. We're so busy chasing after the extras and thinking we can't live without them that we wind up overlooking the essential blessings that are in our lives each and every day. So may we all have the zechut to have that clarity of perspective that the Jewish people were given by eating the man for those 40 years, and carry that forward into our lives of today. And I would add an extra blessing that I hope, Ezrat Hashem, all of you will join me here. I know that you think that America, we need the conveniences of America, we need the luxuries of America, we need the wealth of America, we need the affluence of America. It's not true. If you didn't have it, when you didn't have it, you were just as happy, as if not happier than you are now, because you didn't feel it was missing. And if you come to Eretz Yisrael, you will see that the beauty of the land and the blessing that it offers is more than enough to make us happy and satisfied, and for us to feel grateful to Hashem for having given it to us. Shabbat Shalom Uvarach.